PD Beats here from Pop Turner, speaking to Brandon H. Lee about Season 6, Part 1 of Cobra Kai, which is now streaming worldwide on Netflix. Welcome to the show, man. Thanks so much for being here.
Yo, Petey, thanks so much for having me. I'm a big fan of your show, so it's an honor to be here, man.
Oh, that means a lot, man. I mean, the show hasn't even been out for 2 weeks, if you think about it. The Season 6, Part 1. And I'm sure it's just been kind of nonstop on your end. You do a bit of press, go to the premiere. Has it hit you that people are finally able to see what you all worked on for Season 6, Part 1?
Dude, it feels like I'm in this like dream that I'm keep waiting to wake up from. Like I'm like, it's so surreal. I can't even, I've been riding on adrenaline for like the past week ever since the premiere. It's kind of hitting me now, but no, it's been so much fun. Everyone has been so overwhelmingly welcoming. So I'm just extremely grateful, man.
In terms of the audition process, I mean, we're going back a little bit here, but what was that like for you? And was there kind of anything about this audition process for Cobra Kai that was different from past auditions? Because I feel like that's the crazy thing, right? Sometimes they tell you a lot of things, sometimes they don't tell you anything. Like, did you audition for Kwon? Like, what was that like for you for Cobra Kai Season 6?
Yeah, this is kind of a fun story because I actually auditioned April of 2023, right before the strike.
Okay.
I didn't find out I booked the role until January of 2024, about a week before I started filming. So it was 8 months of like, oh my gosh, did I get this role or not? But I sent him a self-tape, and I think as actors, we always try to never have any expectations after an audition or going into an audition, just because it's like we maybe land not even 1% of the roles that we audition for. But this one in particular, I was like, oh my God, I've been such a big fan of Cobra Kai for so long. I felt like this role fit me and my skill set really well. And so I was naturally so attached to it. And it was one of the fastest times I heard that I was in the callback audition. So then I think about a week later, I met the big three, John, Josh, and Hayden, the creators of the show, on Zoom. And we did a callback audition. They gave me some feedback. I think John Hurwitz actually talked about this in one of his interviews with Collider, I think. But he was saying that, and he told me this after they hired me, he was saying that when they saw my slate, which is when actors like kind of introduce themselves out of character.
Yeah.
He said that I seemed like such a nice guy that they were worried if I could be a big enough like bad guy to play Kwon. So they kind of gave me that note of like, you're the baddest of bad characters. Like, we want you to like send it all the way. And I was like, okay, say less. And then, I'm happy they liked it. They didn't get to tell me I booked it till like 8 months later, but yeah.
So it's interesting you say it's a perfect segue. Obviously, I have some questions I want to talk to you about. This was something I was going to bring up a bit after because it's more I like my questions to be about the craft rather than the plot because I don't want to spoil many things and because there's a lot of people talk about the plot. You know what I mean? I want to talk about the craft and how you got there. But I will say, and I'm just wondering from like the script to screen journey for you, Brandon. The spoiler alert for people who haven't seen it, but it ends up where like, Kwon and Cobra Kai show up at the Sekai Taikai, right? And then the next couple episodes, we're going to get into the tournament. And I cannot wait for that. It's on. The tournament's on. I can't wait. You're laughing because you know what happens, and I don't.
I know, but I can't wait either, dude. I haven't seen any of the footage. Like, I'm dying to see it, man.
But you
I'm
do
dying
get
to see
scripts,
it too.
so it's still 1-0 Brandon over PD Beats. You got the scripts. If you think about
I guess you're right.
Anyway, no, but I feel like, and this is just a credit to you, man, as an actor. You did such an amazing job. I love just seeing how we got to, because we talked about before we started, Kwon's the guy, right? He's the kind of like student at Cobra Kai that, it looks like Kreese is going to rely on him. They're going to rely on him to be that guy, right? But that's set up, right? With Kreese and like everything. What was that like seeing that kind of 3-4 episode kind of development for Kwon on script and then kind of seeing it come to life on screen for you? I'm really curious about that.
Dude, it's crazy. I mean, like, we I think this was I think people will be really surprised. Cobra Kai shoots really, really, really fast.
Okay.
Like ridiculously fast. I was like really surprised because this is a #1 hit show every time it hits Netflix. I thought,
Like
they have like
instantly too, eh? Like 2
yeah,
hours.
right? You would think that they have like all the time in the world, especially when you see the final product. It looks like, oh, they must have filmed this fight scene like, they must have had like a whole month for that. No, like the actors are learning the choreography like on the day, and like we're just going, and a lot of times you only get like 2-3 takes, which is like this was the first time that I've ever been on set and I was like always doing something. Like, most of the time you're always waiting on something, we were just moving. So honestly, it's kind of like all a blur, but I also think that this like pace of how we shoot the show makes it have that raw energy when you watch it, because it's so like nobody has time to overthink their performance. They're just going because we're just going. And so
Yeah.
it's all first instinct. So honestly, like this is kind of the first time where I'm watching myself and I kind of don't remember those takes because it's just everything just happens so fast and we're doing so many different
But it's also
takes.
the pace of it too, right? Like the karate and just like
Yeah,
it's like a
yeah,
fast paced show, right? If you think about
exactly,
it too, yeah, from a viewer
exactly.
perspective, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
No,
So
that's
yeah, it's really cool to like see. I think also because Kwon is really different from who I am as a person.
yeah.
It's like kind of like I do not really see myself as well.
But like, man, he's gonna be a force to be reckoned with in that tournament, man. Like Cobra Kai, I'm just saying, like Miyagi-Do, it's gonna be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because he's so confident too. When he shows
Mm-hmm.
up, right? They show the team, and
Mm-hmm.
then there's that big relief. Because again, just in case, but like, it's not a season of Cobra Kai unless there's a dojo swap. So
Yeah.
someone else has joined your team. So it's like you look at that team and you're like, oh my goodness, this is going to be insane.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We got like the stacked squad, We got Tori over here now.
So
Oh, was
much
I not supposed to
happening.
say that? My
No,
bad.
you can say it. I
No,
mean,
you're
no.
good.
I mean, it's out. I said it at the beginning of the interview, like minor
Yeah, we already said it.
spoilers.
We already said it.
It's all
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
It's like the show. The fans love this stuff so much,
Mhm.
and it's like
Mhm.
the loyalty of these fans, right? Like you're
Yeah.
only seeing it more now, but like, what is
Uh-huh.
that like? It hasn't been out for a month, but it's so crazy, these fans, right?
Dude. I've been a fan since season
Yep.
1. So like for me as a fan, and I've seen so many characters on the show, so many amazing characters on the show. But we're 6 seasons in. Me as a fan, I don't know if I would be very welcoming to a character, to more new characters. I'd be like, "Are you kidding me? More new? Are you serious? Like, we already have too many, But like, for the Cobra Kai fans to be so incredibly welcoming to us, and like you said, it's only been like less than 2 weeks, but
They
it's
have
just
theories
been
about Kwon. There's like
yeah,
artwork
dude. Even
already.
when the trailer came out, like before the episodes even came out, there were just my phone was blowing up, and
Really?
like there's a bunch of these like videos of like this guy's gonna destroy, like, and I was just like, what the
That's kind
like
of what I'm saying.
it's so funny, like it's so funny that like the main cast, a lot of the main cast, they warned me, they
yeah.
kept telling me, they were like, dude, we have the best fans, but they're also the craziest
And they're
fans, like
quick. No, it's the
yeah,
quick.
they're
They're
quick, and they're
quick,
like
man.
they warned me, and I was like, yeah, 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 yeah. I'm gonna prefer myself mentally. No, dude, like it's they were not kidding. I see why they gave me such a big heads up, because dude, the Cobra Kai fans are the best, man. They're the best.
And it's such a global fan base, and it's the Netflix, right? Over
Yep.
90 countries, right? So it's just
Yep.
kind of like so amazing there. So much happens before we go to camera on Cobra Kai, right? Like you said, there's like
Uh-huh.
preparations and everything. So from an
Yeah.
acting storyteller perspective, you can see it as two journeys for Brandon H. Lee. You can see it before filming Cobra Kai and after
Mm-hmm.
filming Cobra Kai. Or do
Mm-hmm.
you see it as one big journey with multiple steps from an acting storyteller perspective? I'm curious about that.
I mean, as of right now, I do think, because this is really, I mean, like we were just saying, it's like this is at a whole different scale.
Mhm.
And kind of before Cobra Kai, my professional experience has always been in stunts.
Yeah.
I mean, I obviously was acting a lot beforehand, but it was mostly just like our own indie projects, you know? Like, you know how it is. We were just talking about how you're a filmmaker as well. Like,
Yeah.
you know exactly what that grind is like, you know? And, you know, this is like kind of the first big thing for me. So I think, I mean, as of right now, it does kind of feel pre this and pre that, but like, I mean, I talked about this before with Ralph Macchio as well. Like I would listen to his audiobook, his autobiography, and like he says something along the lines of that, like, as an actor, every role that is meant for you will find you. You know, you book every role that's meant for you. So it kind of pretty much like everything happens for a reason, you know, and just like kind of seeing my path leading up to this point, you know, looking back now on times where I got close to that big break or whatever it was, it wasn't meant to be, you know, and then it all led to this point perfectly. I mean, I actually auditioned for Cobra Kai. One of my very first auditions when I came into acting was for Cobra Kai. I don't even remember what character, but it was. So I'm thinking about it now. I'm like, no, there was no way in heck I was ready for that. Yes, maybe I had the skill set of martial arts my whole life, but like I was not ready for that. And who would have ever thought that, you know, 6 seasons later that I'm finally in the show. So it's like I think
Dude,
everything really
I'm
happens
so
for me.
happy for you, man, honestly.
Thank you.
Because you
Thank
know
you.
what, man? It's like, and that's why like I get so excited when I do these interviews, my energy
Yeah.
and like everything. It's
Yeah,
because I know like we're seeing you on like Cobra Kai season 6, part 1 as Kwon, part of Cobra Kai.
Mm-hmm.
And like I know all the stories, all the steps, and everything that kind of you went through to get there. And that's
Mm-hmm.
what makes it more exciting for me. From a craft
Yeah.
perspective,
Yeah.
knowing
Yeah.
that there were so many stories about like
Yeah.
this almost happened, this happened,
Yeah.
this is how I got here. That's the best part. So you're
Yeah.
watching
Yeah.
this incredible show made by, you know, the big three and everything, and you're seeing this
Mm-hmm.
amazing thing with like, you know, Josh Hayden created this whole kind of world expanding the Karate Kid world to Cobra Kai, and we
Yeah.
love every minute of it. But it's like, think of all those conversations that kind
Yeah.
of led to what we see. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
Like
It's insane,
it's
man.
endless. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
you know, I'm happy for you, man. You should be really, really
Thank
proud,
you.
dude. I just want to say
Thank
that.
you, man. I really appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, bro.
You know, we talked a little bit about like the pace of it, like filming
Mm-hmm.
it, but I'm just wondering, especially for like, you know, the action stuff, because you said you do stunts and everything. Like,
Mm-hmm.
does that also feel really fast as well, or is that because you've been doing stunts for a while? Is it more kind of methodical in terms of the pace of doing the stunts? Because maybe there's like conversations about the fight
Yeah.
scenes before you actually
Yeah.
do it. So what's the pace like for the stunts specifically?
No, dude, this was like again, this was something that probably one of the biggest things I learned on the show was that how I was so amazed that like they totally fooled me because you know, I'd worked in stunts, like I said. I thought that these actors had so much time to prep for this stuff. Most of the time they're learning choreography on the day
Yeah, like you
and they
said,
don't
yeah.
get many tries. And like on top of that, because there's not much time, you know, I've worked on shows where as a stunt double on movies where I'm training an actor for 3 months before they even film one thing. And for those 3 months, we're rehearsing the fight scenes. We know the exact camera angles. They know it like it's the back of their hand by the time they shoot. On Cobra Kai, we're doing like 40 beats of action and like acting all in the same take. Like a lot of action shows, they break it up into chunks, and we still break it up in Cobra Kai, but like they don't break it up nearly as much. And so I remember I was just amazed by that. And like I was talking to some of the other main cast members, they were like, "Wait, you guys don't do that on like Brandon? Like you've never done that before?" I'm like, "No, dude, you guys are insane. Like you guys are so good. Like I don't think people realize how good they really are. Like they're really all black belts. You know, there's 6 seasons in the show, and like to be acting and do that all at the same time, all in like one take, is absolutely insane. So yeah, no, that was one of my biggest like light bulb moments, I guess, coming into this show.
And I'm interested to hear your answer on this, considering you were a fan of the show before you signed on to be Kwon in the show, because I feel like anyone that's in Cobra Kai as an actor is in a really like unique familiar territory because it's an extension of the Karate Kid universe where we know a lot of characters from that world, but then there's so many new characters that like we've never seen before. So it's like familiar territory and unfamiliar territory at the same time. So I'm wondering if you thought about that when you were officially cast for the show.
No, for sure, 1000%. I mean,
it's unique if you think about it.
Yeah, dude, so unique. And like that's why I was so excited to hear like we have, you know, a Korean team now. Yeah. And like I was so pumped, like I was so confused like how, because they actually gave me dummy sides at first.
Okay.
My audition scenes were like the ones with Kreese for the most part that you see in episode 3. Mm-hmm. And they didn't have Kreese, his name there. I didn't find out till I did my callback with John, Josh, and Hayden. They told me like, yeah, that name, that's actually Kreese. And I was like, oh my, you know what I mean? So but yeah, no, like what we were saying, it's like that familiar territory but unfamiliar territory. I think the familiarity between Kwon and Kreese's relationship is like, you know, it's like that mentor-mentee thing where you know, Kreese kind of finds someone who has that anger in them, like Gianni, like Tori, like Robbie, and kind of tries to teach them and tame them to use that anger for them. But that was something that I made very conscious, and I think the writers already did like 99% of the work of making this character different from what we've seen in the past. I think this is kind of like the first time we've seen someone who's like a purebred Cobra, you know?
Oh yeah.
Like you see him for 1 second, you're like, that guy's a Cobra. There's no way he's ever going to Miyagi.
And he's gonna win the whole Sekai Taikai. He's gonna win the whole Sekai Taikai.
No, I mean, you can say whatever you want to say. Yeah, but no, like I think he's just he's like a purebred Cobra. Like, and this is exactly what Kreese wants to see, you know. And then I think also how Kreese goes about taming this guy is different. Is very different than what he's done in the past, where, you know, Kwon, I think more so than the other mentees or that Kreese has had, doesn't think that Kreese even has any business being near him at first.
I feel
like that's already
Kwon
a different POV. You know?
I feel like he also doesn't care.
He doesn't.
Like he really doesn't. Like you see him show up at the tournament, and like, you know, we know, you know, Tori's part of Cobra Kai now. We talked about that. And it's like, there's going to be kind of that, like, and I'm just curious to see that dynamic because, like, Tori knows people from Miyagi-Do, but he's not going to care at all. He's going to be like, I don't care about this. Like, he doesn't care, right? Like, was that in the, like, breakdown for the character? That he was just a ruthless, like, mean business, you know,
it was
karate?
something along the lines of that, just, like, relentless, just bad guy, bad boy energy, just that. Yeah, I think he doesn't really give a. I mean, the writing already does so much for you, man. Like, like his first line is like, "That's how you do it."
Yeah.
Look at me, like, and just like, don't. Why? Was something? What was the line? Go straight for head. No head, no fight. Like, he's literally talking out of line so much. So he doesn't.
What was it like rolling into the Sekai Taikai? Like that scene we see. Like, where you like, what was that like? Because everyone's there for that, right? Like, you're with like Miyagi-Do and everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. You know what's crazy is it's kind of a blur because we shot that because there was just that one shot we really needed.
Yeah,
there was like 2 or 3 shots at Sekai Taikai in episode 5, so it kind of blends in all of part 2 for me.
Okay,
like so I just remember like we were probably shooting a different episode like in part 2, and they were like, yeah, by the way, we have to get this shot, and I was like, oh, okay. So it's kind of a blur to me, but then now when I watch it, I'm like, oh, that's pretty sick. You know, but
they're just setting it up for the tournament. It's a lot of setting up for the Sekai Taikai for part 2.
Yeah,
that's a lot of what it is.
It's 1000% that, and I think the wait's gonna be worth it, bro. I can confidently say that. Like, fans, I know it's painful to wait, but
they moved it up,
it's going to be so
They moved it up.
They moved it up. They really did. Yeah, they did.
November 15th now, right?
Yeah. I'm so glad they did that. That's going to be awesome.
Like that's like not that far away too, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Like, this summer is going by so quick.
Yeah, we're already towards the end of July right now. Like,
Yeah,
what the heck?
I know it's
Like,
crazy, but they can catch you as
insane.
Kwon in season 6, part 1 of Cobra Kai,
Uh-huh.
which is streaming now worldwide on Netflix. Brandon, it was so great chatting with you, man. Thank you so much for coming on the show, dude.
Dude, thanks so much for having me, man. I love your energy and your passion for this. And like I said, I've been a big fan of this show. So thanks so much. I'm honored to be here.
That
And
means a lot. But if we're not excited, what's the point of all this?
exactly, right?
You know,
Like,
you're
why do
Kwon.
what we
You
do?
play Kwon in Cobra Kai season 6, part 1. Cobra Kai, one of like the biggest shows on the planet globally.
Yeah.
That I feel
Yeah.
like gets bigger and bigger. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
every time
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's like,
Yeah.
you know what's crazy too? It's like anytime. Okay, I do have one last question for you. Okay,
Let's do it.
bonus round. Okay, so because you're a fan too, because I find that very
Yep.
interesting, right? Like, so you've
Yep.
seen, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I used to go to like, I used to be a big like punk rock and metal music fan, right? So I used to go to all like the
Oh.
concerts, right?
Uh-huh,
And when there
uh-huh.
was like an announcement for a tour, right, that they were coming in like 3 months to your city, the announcement was like an event, right? Like you were excited
Yeah.
even before the thing. So anytime there's an announcement about Cobra Kai, whether it's cast announcement, a poster, a teaser, an appearance, anything, it's like new episodes drop. Like the
Uh-huh.
hype of it. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
like what
yeah,
do you
yeah.
think about that? Because that's crazy too.
Yeah. I mean, I think they've done a really good job of like hyping up everything. It's so smart of them to split this final season up because like, you know, if they did drop it all at once, like I'm sure it would still be amazing, but now because we know it's the final season, like first of all, a lot of TV shows don't get the privilege to know that it's their final season and
Yep.
right towards that. And I think we can all see it in part 1 that like it has that feeling of like, oh, we're coming to an end, you know? So I think that's a beautiful thing. It also allows us to like, because we're all gonna be so sad when the show is over, man.
It's like
Everyone's-
it's
we can
yeah.
prolong the you know I guess the drug of the show, you know. It's like we get to savor it a bit longer, you know,
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
if it wasn't split up, we would just be, you know, we would be on a high for maybe a week or two, and then everyone would be so depressed that it's the final season.
It would have,
man.
yeah, it'd be tough
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah, so season 6 part 1 available now worldwide. Your Instagram account is just your name if people want to keep up to date with everything, right?
Yeah, Brandon H Lee _official, I believe, and then I'm also on YouTube and TikTok, and I have like comedy sketches I do on YouTube.
I saw that. They're awesome.
Thank you, man.
They're
Appreciate
really,
it.
really good.
you.
Well, this has been Pop Turnitive, youtube.com/Pop Turnitive previous episodes. You, of course, can catch Brandon H. Lee as Kwon in season 6, part 1 of Cobra Kai, streaming now worldwide on Netflix. Until next time, this is Brandon and PD Beats, signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Pop Turnitive. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Pop Turnitive on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.